I chose not to have my mother come identify my body in a pool of blood.
But Zan Wilson wasn't ever called before the grand jurors. They made up their minds without hearing the story she told Primetime about how she was raped after midnight in her Austin, Texas apartment complex on September 17th, 1992. She would later learn the rapist was a neighbor, Joel Valdez.
I thought, I heard that she liked to party.
So after a few drinks, he headed for Wilson's apartment. Joel Valdez leapt over this fence. He let himself in this door, and he found no one at home. But he did find a 5-inch knife. Then he hid and waited for Zan Wilson. And when Wilson came home and went upstairs to bed,
I just picked up that knife and went upstairs.
I see a man in my hallway. I turn on the light, shut the door, I hooked my bedroom door.
Wilson says she locked herself in her bedroom and tried to dial 911, but Valdez broke in.
The man knocked the phone out of my hands. He had a knife to me.
Where was he holding the knife to you?
Flailing it. The entire time, just get in the bed, get in the bed. Pointing to the bed with the knife. Take off my pants.
And then she told me, do me a favor. I said, what was that? Can you put on this condom on for me? Because nowadays everybody got, AIDS, AIDS and all that.
I begged him to wear a condom. Begged him. People seem to think that I just simply requested. No, I begged him to wear it. He said, oh, I ain't got no AIDS. I said, well, what makes you think that I don't?
Police records show that Valdez confessed he entered Wilson's house without her permission, held a knife to her, and had sex for 45 minutes to an hour.
This went on for a while, me begging him to please not kill me, please not hurt me.
When Valdez put the knife down, Wilson saw her chance.
I grabbed the knife off of the dresser in one bound. He got up with his pants around his ankles, and I said, you touch me and I will kill you. And I ran out my bedroom door, which was still open, down my stairs, and I was out that door pounding on my neighbor's door, butt naked.
Then she called 911.
Okay, ma'am, calm down. Now, can you tell me if he was white, black, Hispanic?
He was Hispanic. I have his shirt in my house. I also talked him into wearing a condom.
Officer Craig Cannon responded to the call. He remembers admiring Wilson's ability to think at knife point to protect herself from AIDS.
That she could think, when she's being assaulted, that I may die from this later on. That if I can talk this bad guy into wearing a condom, maybe I won't die from this. It was amazing.
Valdez was arrested within hours at this shopping mall. But that wasn't the end of it, because he kept insisting to police it wasn't rape.
It was her idea to do all this. I didn't force her to do nothing like that.
So it was her idea to have sex?
Yes, because she the one told me to wear the condoms.
A woman who turns on her light and sees you in the hallway with a knife would then want to have sex with you? Do you expect people out there to believe that this...
Well, they're going to have to believe that's the way it happens.
Most members of the grand jury did believe Joel Valdez. They refused to indict him. And within days, he was back on the street.
I thought that this is a nightmare. This is not really happening like this.
But it happens like this almost all the time. A just-released report from the U.S. Senate finds that, quote, 98% of victims of rape never see their attacker caught, tried, or imprisoned.
We're letting rapists go free, and the public has not been let in on the fact that that's exactly what we're doing.
Alice Vox is a former New York City prosecutor whose book Sex Crimes affirms that most rapists are never punished.
What's most frightening about it is that means that 98% of the rapists are running around going to do it again.
The grand jury that freed Joel Valdez didn't see it that way. Primetime talked to 11 of the 12 jurors in an effort to determine why a majority of them thought that Zan Wilson consented to have sex. Did the assistant district attorney tell you that Mr. Valdez had threatened her with a knife?
Yes.
This juror wanted to indict, but most focused on the condom issue as the prosecutor presented the case.
When she read it and said that she asked the rapist to use a condom, well, there was a little sniggle, laughter. That was what made some of them think that it must have been consensual.
If you want to ask me what I have consented to, it's to live.
Ronnie Earl is the county prosecutor.
What would you say if it was your daughter who gave him a condom? Would you say she consented? Would that be your response? Of course not. You would say your daughter didn't get killed. Thank God that your daughter had the presence of mind and the courage and the strength of will of Zan Wilson.
And yet it was precisely the strength and will of Zan Wilson which the grand jury doubted, because she didn't fight back.
Someone said, I know what I would have done. I would have picked up a lamp and hit him or gotten the knife.
But that's not smart. Rape experts have always warned fighting is risky.
Virtually everybody in this field tells women, do whatever you need to do to survive. And then, when they follow our advice, we blame them for it.
So you always said, if somebody ever tries to rape me, I'll fight.
I'm going to kick their butt.
But when it really happened,
You can't. Unless you know how to disarm someone, you cannot fight back, or you're going to die.
Zan Wilson's indignation was echoed in the headlines when word got out that Joel Valdez had not been indicted. The outrage started in her local police precinct. It made you mad?
Oh, yeah, it made me mad. I read the paper that morning. I got on the phone. I started calling people. At that point, I realized there was a lot of other people who made phone calls, and a lot of other people were mad.
Stop blaming women! Stop blaming women!
Condom or not, rape is rape.
With community momentum building, a second grand jury indicted Joel Valdez. And last month, when the verdict came in, Zan Wilson became part of that tiny 2% of rape victims who sees justice.
We, the jury, having found the defendant, Joel Rene Valdez, guilty of the offense of aggravated sexual assault, assess his punishment at confinement for 40 years.
I think this proves that the first grand jury was incredibly wrong.
But does it change anything about the way most grand juries look at rape?
The most frightening part of a story like this is how many Zan Wilsons have come along that we know nothing about.
Never gets as far as the court.
Never gets as far as the court, it never gets as far as arrest, it never gets as far as the media.
This week, Valdez filed an appeal. So Zan Wilson faces the prospect that she is going to have to prove herself all over again.
It makes me think that we're going back to the way it was 20 years ago when a woman had to show up at a hospital beaten to a pulp to prove that she was raped.
It's been rough going for Zan Wilson. After the rape, while she was waiting for the trial to begin, she was so distraught she had to be hospitalized and treated for depression. But she's back on her feet now and has started a group called Women Are Mobilizing to provide assistance to female victims of violent crimes, including rape.
Coming up, she counted the president and first lady among her friends. She was a respected academic. And then the worst happened. She was nominated for a position.
They were outraged because the board decided to restore Goretta's medical license even before he gets out of jail. And as you may remember, Stefan and Laurent Godin, both hemophiliacs who were infected with HIV, became national symbols of the scandal. We reported that Stefan was at his brother's side when Laurent died.
They killed my brother.
Well, yesterday, Stefan also died. He was 15. He'll be buried next to his brother. Primetime continues in a moment.
I like a really big, round burger.
And I like them really, really thick.
You can have a baseball.
Smells come up and the juices drip down. I can almost hear it.
By the sound, just by the sound, then I know it's ready.
Whoa.
Wait.
It's not done.
Done. Ah, it's done.
No, it's done.
A1. It's how burgers are.
Perfect.
Done.
At Ford Motor Company, quality is more than just the way a car is built. It's the design of the instrument panel, the richness of the finish, the turn of a wheel, the safety of a loved one. It's the way your car or truck makes you feel. For us, our commitment to quality is an obsession.
And it's paying off. 5 of the 10 best-selling vehicles in America are built by Ford Motor Company.
Ford Motor Company, quality is job one. It's working.
I've heard it before.
It's new. It's improved.
I'll believe it when I see it. Then I see this new Double Power Surf. Cute, huh? I mean, other detergents seem watery, but you can see that this stuff is packed so thick with double the cleaning power, half the liquid gets out the toughest dirt and odors. Hey, no dirt, no smells. Things are completely clean. So Surf is new. And this t-shirt really is improved.
New Double Power Surf removes dirt and odors.
Day one in the middle of nowhere. The meals have been superb. It's a good thing they have a fitness program aboard every Royal Caribbean ship. Maybe I'll work out tonight before dinner. Maybe I won't. There was something about the streamers at our Bon Voyage party that told me this is going to be the vacation of a lifetime.
You've got some Royal Caribbean coming.
Sunday.
I have just the men for the job.
The Police Academy gang is back in a network television premiere.
This is not a good combination.
Who wants to go one-on-one?
It's Police Academy 6 Sunday.
That was very exciting.
Day one moves to Monday night. They were poor immigrants until a devastating bus crash claimed their children. Then grief turned to greed.
You got $5 million and you're still suing. Why?
Why I'm doing it? I really don't know why.
Did new homes, cars, and money ease their pain or destroy what was left of their lives?
The townspeople are ashamed of the families.
What would you do if tragedy made you a millionaire? Don't miss Day One on a new night, Monday at 8, 7 Central.
If you've ever taken your car in for repairs, you know the feeling. You're handing over the money and you're wondering if you're not being had, and for good reason. Experts say car repair fraud is one of the biggest consumer rip-offs in the country. And too few of us know enough about our cars to know when we're being cheated, which is why we first broadcast this investigation last fall. Here's what Chief Correspondent Chris Wallace found when he took out the hidden cameras and put them under the hood.
It's what keeps America's love affair with a car humming. We may not always understand what's happening under the hood, but we certainly appreciate it. A thing of beauty, at least when it works. But when it fails, most of us are helpless, left to the not-so-tender mercies of the auto mechanic.
I don't trust one of them, not one of them.
They cheat people.
Listen, that's what they did to my car.
Rick Beasler is one of the country's top experts on auto repair fraud. He's prosecuted dozens of crooked mechanics for the state attorney's office in Jacksonville, Florida.
I think if most consumers knew exactly how many times they were being ripped off, their worst fears, their worst suspicions would be realized.
Wayne Lovett has been a mechanic for 20 years. He says he's never cheated a customer, but he's worked with plenty of mechanics who have.
How much money can a crooked mechanic make?
$1,000 a day.
Why do you use that figure? Why 1,000?
Because that's what I've heard an awful lot of them talking about. I've got my 1,000, I'll go home now. That's the way they set their working hours.
We wanted to find out what really happens when you take your car in to be fixed. So we got these two cars, had mechanics go over them and make sure they were in perfect working order, and then put a small flaw in each. The kind of flaw that should be easy to spot and easy to fix.
How's the belt look down there?
Veteran mechanics Gene Giorgini and Kurt Lauer set up our test cars, introducing basic problems, such as a loose hose or a disconnected spark plug.
So this is Mechanics 101 here.
Yes, definitely. Anybody can spot a spark plug wire being disconnected.
How much would you charge?
There would be no charge, absolutely none for this.
We made one more adjustment to each test car. We planted a hidden camera under the hood to get a vantage point the customer never gets. The camera would record every second that mechanics worked on our cars. Playing the helpless motorist, producer Kelly Sutherland then began a 2-week tour of gas stations chosen at random in New York and Connecticut.
I'm having some trouble with my car.
She found some garages fixed her problem quickly and free of charge.
The wire pulled up.
But other mechanics weren't so honest. The bills added up.
$70, $80,
Maybe $95.
138.78 with the tax.
149.
We're talking about work here that didn't have to be done.
Everything that we saw between the films and between what we've seen when the cars came back, blatant rip-off.
One of those rip-offs came at this garage outside New York City. Our producer pulled in, complaining her engine was running rough. The real problem was a disconnected spark plug. But the garage owner had a bigger job in mind.
The hanging belt on the car is slipping, and that's what's causing the surging and everything.
Almost 3 hours later, our producer returned.
So you replaced the belt?
Right.
So I owe you?
138.78 with the tax.
A scam, a complete scam. There was no reason at all for them to do what they did.
And what did they do? They didn't replace the timing belt. They just sprayed the outside with a cleaner to make it look new. We paid for 2 hours of labor, but our camera showed mechanics spent less than 5 minutes working on the car.
So all they did was just give it a washing.
I mean, they robbed us.
Oh, yeah.
Of $138.
Of $138.
At another garage, another scam that drives car owners crazy. The repair job that just keeps growing. The mechanic started by creating a problem, removing a spark plug. Only then did he fix our real problem, reconnecting a loose vacuum hose. Now he said what we really needed was a tune-up.
Okay, how much will it cost me about?
Well, the tune-up is $69.95.
For the next 2 hours, the job and the bill kept getting bigger. He found a dangerous problem with the rotor and cap.
Maybe he was gonna catch fire on you, you know?
Then, an unexpected oil change.
I'm sorry, do I need that?
Yeah, he's black. So black, look. See?
In fact, once oil gets in an engine, it always turns black. And then there was a new gas filter.
The gas filter needed to be replaced too?
Yeah, I put new gas filter.
The grand total, $184.47.
Outrageous charge. Outrageous.
How much was unnecessary?
All of it, because the hose should have just been rehooked up.
I mean, simple as that. I just stick here and attach it and the problem solved.
You've just repaired your car.
Wayne Lovett says that for crooked mechanics, the ideal victim is
what they called a dude.
And what's a dude?
Out of state, nice car. Generally, they picked on the coat and tie guy.
I'm a dude.
You would be a dude. Absolutely.
Lovett says crooked mechanics not only have their own terms, they have their own tools. Small squeeze bottles to spray underneath a car and create instant leaks. PQ, or paint it quick. Charging for a new part when all the mechanic has done is repaint your old one.
People like to see paint. If it's nice, shiny, clear, new paint, then it must be a new part.
And a favorite device called a pinner.
Where it's normally a screwdriver, they sharpen it like an ice pick. And they can just palm it and walk by your car and poke a hole in a tire, and they can do it as fast as they can walk.
This police surveillance video from a Florida court case shows a mechanic pinning a radiator, creating a big repair job. Our cars never got pinned, but we did see some ingenious scams, such as at this shop in suburban Connecticut.
It's got a fuel injection problem. That's what the stalling problem is. I'm going to check right now, so give me 10 minutes. I'll try to find out what we got going on there.
Our car did not have a fuel injection problem, just a loose hose. But the mechanic even provided a computer printout to back up his diagnosis.
It's like the easiest way I can explain it to you is like pinching off a valve to your heart.
We were told we needed a fuel injection cleaning and were charged $100. But our videotape showed we'd been taken to the cleaners. The mechanic never removed any fuel injectors or cleaned the system. What he did was reconnect that loose vacuum hose. And what about that computer readout that showed the engine emissions were high?
Just because it's a computer readout doesn't mean that it is actually what is the matter with your car.
I mean, they could have programmed this to say anything they want?
They could do certain things to the engine that could cause this sort of computer readout.
They're just artists at what they do. I mean, they're great. If they were in the movie business, they'd be at the Academy Awards every year.
And they're performing at your local gas station?
Just cost you a few $100 or $1,000 to see the show. They're there.
It was time to go looking for some of these artists, the stars of our hidden videos. And we learned they're also pros at handling angry customers.
Well, I've never said it.
Rule number 1, deny, deny. Over and over, mechanics insisted we just heard wrong, even when we showed them transcripts of what they'd said to our undercover cameras.
You know, here's what you say flat out. Number 2 injector. I took that one manually out, cleaned the tip up.
I never said that.
You never said that?
There'd be no reason to pull an injector out when you could cycle it. Number 2 injector. I took that one manually out, cleaned the tip up on it.
And what about this shop, where the mechanic kept finding new problems?
You said to her that the cap and the rotor might catch on fire. They were dirty.
I never said that.
You never said that?
Never. Maybe he was gonna catch fire on you, you know?
Chris Wallace from ABC News. How are you, sir?
If that didn't work, mechanics tried another excuse.
I didn't check the car. It was the other mechanic.
Rule number 2, blame the other guy. This was the shop that charged us $138 for a new timing belt, when all they did was spray the outside of our old one.
Maybe you can explain it. We just want to understand what's going on here, okay?
I don't remember exactly what we did on that time because I was out for lunch.
But once again, the tape told the story. It was Caesar who worked on our car.
You see? All you do, that's your hat. All you do, Caesar, is you reconnect the spark plug. You didn't put in a new timing belt. All you did is spray it. Why would you spray the outside of a timing belt?
Why did I did spray? Because I took the timing housing.
You didn't touch it?
I can't answer any more questions. You know, I got to work, and my boss got to talk to you.
Caesar's boss said he just bought the garage from the old management and wasn't responsible for anything that happened before.
For the work I did here, none of it's out of the league. All of it's rather cheap.
If all else fails, rule number 3, be totally obnoxious. This mechanic charged us $167 to overhaul our radiator, when in fact he solved the problem right away just by tightening a hose.
I didn't do nothing to the top radiator hose.
Yes, you did.
I didn't.
You tightened it.
No, I took it off.
So we showed him the videotape.
Now, you see what you did? You tightened the top radiator hose.
Okay, now I tightened it tight.
But a minute ago you told me you didn't do that.
Well, excuse me. I have sinned.
In any case, he insisted the work he'd done to our car was top-notch.
You think you sent it out in perfect working order?
As far as what I did, yeah.
Let me show you what happened after you finished your job, okay?
What happened was that just 10 blocks from the garage, that supposedly overhauled radiator went up in smoke.
10 blocks later, the car boils over.
Okay, I gather it's still got a problem.
But I thought you sent it out in perfect working order,
Well,
Chuck.
it run in the shop. It was running fine.
But 10 blocks later it isn't?
What could I tell you? It wasn't there to break down on me.
Wayne Lovett says it's a problem across the country. Too many mechanics are looking not to help the customer, but to fleece him.
They laugh about it. They think that you're stupid. They go into it that you're stupid. They are not mechanics.
What are they?
They're thieves.
So, how can you outsmart those thieves? Experts say first establish a relationship with a garage. They'll be less likely to scam a repeat customer. Second, always ask for your old parts back, even if you don't know a dipstick from a distributor. It'll put the mechanic on guard and make him think twice before cheating you. And finally, if you travel a lot, it's a good idea to join a reputable national service club. They can provide emergency road service and recommend good mechanics anywhere in the country.
Hello, I'm Ann Martin.
I'm Paul Danforth.
In the news tonight, a driver is terrorized as a carjacker shoots him twice in the head at close range.
We'll show you never-before seen pictures of secret tunnels underneath David Koresh's cult compound.
A who's who in the entertainment industry honors fashion designer Calvin Klein.
And hockey fever heats up all across Southern California as the Kings go for a Stanley Cup. Those stories coming up next on Eyewitness News Tonight.
Lasers, satellites, cellular data networks. What exactly are we preparing for? UPS introduces Total Track, the only tracking system that can confirm delivery of your air and designated ground packages coast to coast in seconds.
Package was signed for at 9:26 this morning by Mr.
The arms race may be over, but the package race is just heating up.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer battery. It keeps going and going and going.
5 ounces of milk make every 3/4 ounce Kraft single taste better. How do they do that?
Well, the mommy cow sprinkled some milk into the cheese till it got real big. And she ironed it till it got real smooth.
More milk means better taste, and every 3/4 ounce Kraft single is made from 5 ounces of milk.
Excellent.
Unlike imitation cheese, made mostly with oil and water, milk makes Kraft singles taste better.
K-R-A-F-T. Bye.
Now, Kellogg's Raisin Bran has even more of what you love best. Sweet, plump raisins. And 2 scoops with more raisins means great raisin taste. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Now with even more raisins.
No. No, no, no. No. No.
Okay. The very affordable Civic CX from Honda.
Sea Hero captured the Derby. Barry Bayou won the Preakness. Now these 2 champions meet in horse racing's toughest test. The Belmont Stakes, live Saturday on ABC Sports.
There's an anniversary this week. It was 25 years ago that Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated. We were thinking about it and about the fact that sometimes you can learn a lot about a person from just one moment, the way he reacts when surprised or horrified. It led us to this old film of a speech Kennedy improvised after learning Martin Luther King Jr. had been killed. It was just 2 months before Kennedy himself would die. So take a minute with us, if you will, and listen to Robert F. Kennedy and the echo of history.
I have some very sad news for all of you, and I think sad news for all of our fellow citizens and people who love peace all over the world. And that is that Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight in Memphis. Martin Luther King dedicated his life to love and to justice between fellow human beings. He died in the cause of that effort. In this difficult day, in this difficult time for the United States, it's perhaps well to ask what kind of a nation we are and what direction we want to move in. For those of you who are black, considering the evidence evidently is that there were white people who were responsible, you can be filled with bitterness and with hatred and a desire for revenge. We can move in that direction as a country, in greater polarization, black people amongst blacks and white amongst whites, filled with hatred toward one another. Or we can make an effort, as Martin Luther King did, to understand and to comprehend and replace that violence, that stain of bloodshed that is spread across our land, with an effort to understand compassion and love. For those of you who are black and are tempted to be filled with hatred and mistrust of the injustice of such an act against all white people, I would only say that I can also feel in my own heart the same kind of feeling. I had a member of my family killed, but he was killed by a white man. But we have to make an effort in the United States. We have to make an effort to understand, to get beyond or go beyond these rather difficult times. My favorite poem, my favorite poet was Aeschylus. He once wrote, "Even in our sleep, pain which cannot forget falls drop by drop upon the heart until in our own despair, against our will, comes wisdom through the awful grace of God." Let us dedicate ourselves to what the Greeks wrote so many years ago. to tame the savageness of man and make gentle the life of this world. Let us dedicate ourselves to that and say a prayer for our country and for our people.
And so we remember.